Alrighty, alrighty. So here we are. Here we are. We are by the tech desk. And for those of you who remember from last week we had the entire tour of everything that goes on this desk. Now we couldn't possibly give you this tour today because, yeah, it's not ready for touring. So hopefully we don't pass right here going down. But if you did miss that video, please feel free to watch it again. Go back to the YouTube page, the Instagram page. I think it was also live on Facebook. If you want to just kind of get a rundown of everything that we do here. Why I did that video first is because we're going to be referencing it a lot. So a lot of the equipment that I use here, I'm not going to go overboard and try and explain other things that I've never used. Most of what I'll be explaining is based on what I've used and what I'm currently using here in my current setup. So it's a lot, but today we're not going to be getting really technical. Today we're going to be more talking about what do you do to make sure that whatever you're doing is sustainable. It's an issue that we run into a lot as people that have been given, I don't know if you want to call it authority or leadership, or if you just found yourself in the place where I'm running a whole team here and the whole tech of the world, it seems, is on your shoulders. So I've had much experience in that. I've been working as the director of technology for a television network that runs 24/7, all operated in-house, and as well as being the director of technology over 30-something churches, including the local one that I'm at now. So there's a lot that goes on, and I think I've pretty much narrowed it down with the help of a good friend yesterday. It seems like so much that goes on, but it is possible to kind of narrow it down to just about 10 major things that you're going to find yourself doing on a day-to-day basis or at some point through your technical life. So if you have any questions, we're on Instagram, we're monitoring those. We're also on Facebook. We're going to be monitoring those in a second. But shoot me questions. Even in the global church, if you're on the global church, shoot me a question and let's see if we can answer some of those things, because I know you guys have issues. And before we get all techie and run into all the cables and hookups, we're going to deal with all the issues that you may run into as the leader of tech, as the leader of anything that involves streaming or broadcasting. So this is more of the softer side of tech today. And I think it's really important because as time goes along, we're going to get into the details, and the details is where you get really technical. But for now, we're going to focus on the 10 things that you need to know as a leader in tech, or as a director, or as anyone who even works in the tech ministry. So here we go. We're going to do thing. I think we have a little fancy today. My mouse is upside down. But we're going to start out with number one. The number one thing you're going to need to know about technology is, if this will come up, haha, you help people fix stuff. That is probably your number one job as anyone that works in tech, helping people fix stuff. So what does that mean? That means that at any point during your life and at any hour of the day or night, you may get a call and say, hey, I'm having this problem and I don't know what to do. Can you help me out, please? That's probably the number one thing. There's a reason why this is at the top of the list, because this, as simple as it is worded, it's called troubleshooting. It's also called problem solving. And this is probably the number one thing that you're going to be called on to do at any time, because you're going to probably spend a few days setting up the setup of any location, even your own. But as time goes along, after that initial setup, it's going to be troubleshooting, going to be issues. You're going to run into things with these man-made, handmade things and robot-made things. It's susceptible to something that's going wrong. Like this machine over here, I love it dearly, but sometimes it just decides it doesn't want to come up. And in the middle of the broadcast, it gives me this nice, beautiful blue screen and words that I don't understand. So that may not just happen to you, it may happen to other people. And other people may not be as knowledgeable, and they may just totally lose it. So you need to know even the softer side of helping people to fix things, because the middle word, no, the second word there is people. You're dealing with people. It's not just the stuff that you're fixing, you're helping the people. So there is a way to do that. The biggest thing that helps me is remembering when I didn't know anything. I didn't have a clue about what I was doing, but yet still I was still in that position. There are many people still in that position. So if you're the leader of any technical department, anything that deals with all these computers and stuff, you're gonna run into problems, and you may not be there. So you may have to be on a phone call. You may be using TeamViewer, maybe using some other kind of remote tool to help people out, and that's fine. But there's a way to do it. And that's number one. The number one thing, the number one or the first thing that you're going to be facing as a tech leader is that you're going to be troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is a huge part of that pie chart of your responsibilities, helping people fix things. And this, I should have mentioned before, this is an overview for everything that we'll be covering in Tech Talk from now on. It's Tech Talk. It's not just tinkering with tech. It's not just walkthroughs and tutorials. We're going to be talking, because I know as the weeks go along and we get to another Saturday, you probably have a bunch of stuff you want to talk to me about. So I'm here to answer even these questions on how to deal with people, how to help people troubleshoot, stuff like that. So, number one, help people fix stuff. Number two, you're going to have to manage a budget at some point in your life. And it may not seem like you have any budget, right? It may never seem like there's ever any money to put into the tech department. The church is always trying to do the building fund, or they're trying to feed the poor, they're trying to go to the prisons, they're trying to do everything. But when it comes to technology, based on your church, it may not seem like that's a priority. But if you have any piece of technology around you, if you use tech at all, if your church uses any piece of tech, that means that there is a budget. There is and was and should be a budget. It's just up to you to approach it like that. Budgeting really means the use of money, managing the use of money. And money is what gets tech. Seldom you'll get free tech. Many times, especially if you want good tech, you have to spend money, and you have to spend good money to get good equipment. So that's another thing. That's going to involve shopping around. That's going to involve finding out if this is worth the price. They call it the bang for the buck, meaning the most explosion for the least amount of money you can spend on any piece of is that right? Any piece of equipment. Yes, bang. Yeah, you're gonna have to manage money in some kind of way. You can't be irresponsible with the money that is in the ministry, because remember, that's people's money. People gave their tithes, their offerings, and this is people's hard work money. So you have to be very careful with how much you experiment, how much you buy that $3,000 camera, and then when it comes, I don't really like it. Yeah, that's something that you have to be very careful. Be mindful of that you have to be very thrifty. You have to be very spend conscious. Frugal. That's another tech word. I'm not even sure if I know what that means, but you have to be very frugal when you're spending money, because if you spend less money on one thing, you have more money for another thing. It works out. So that's number two. The money that you're gonna spend, you have to be able to manage money. So practice it in your own life, in your own spending. Start budgeting, so that when it comes to the tech and the work of the gospel, you're able to also pass on that kind of knowledge to how you're managing with the purchases of the ministry. So that's number two. You're going to have to spend money, so you're going to have to manage some kind of budget. Number three, you're going to have to manage your department. And I know some of you are probably chuckling right now, because you're like, it's only me. But the trick with that is, even if it's only you, you have to manage it as if it's a department. You can't see it as just you coming in and you setting up, you running the camera. You have to see this as this is a tech department that just happens to have one person right now. And what that does, it opens up for more people to even come in, so that when people come in, they're not just helping you. They're now in the tech department. So that's going to take organization. That's going to take, what's that word that we hate? Meetings. Yeah, it's going to take meetings. It's going to take structure, different things like that. I know as techies, we want to get behind the computer. We want to do all the fancy stuff. but at some point you're going to have to have a certain order in which you do things. One of the things I had to do in my department is create checklists. Yes, we can come in and we can set up and you're like, wow, this works. And then 2 minutes before you realize, oh no, we didn't turn the cameras on. Oh no, we didn't do this. Checklists, stuff like that, regular meetings, trainings, things like that. You have to keep in mind that we're not just a group of people that's just trying to make this work. We're a department that's organized and that's goal-oriented. We have our goals. We have things that we set our minds to doing. We have things that we really want to do, and we kind of set out to how we're going to do them, which is a whole nother point. But yes, treat it like a department. Don't just treat it like these are the cameras and they have to be on. Treat it like a department that you respect, and if you respect it, other people respect it. Your pastors will respect it. The praise and worship team will respect the role of the technician, and everybody will just have a greater respect for your department. I know one of the things in my experience that made people feel like it's a department is uniforms. They, even if it's just to tell them, okay, wear black today, and they all show up in black, they feel like a team. Different things like that to feel like, okay, this is a team, this is a department, and we're working together, organized. We have some kind of structure, and we're tackling this giant. So treat it like a department. That's one of the major things. That's number 3. Manage your department. Number 4 is, setting up shoots. And I know this kind of seems it seemed like we got really focused all of a sudden, but the reality is, in tech nowadays, in churches, even in your own personal ministry, if it just is that you have just a regular Facebook Live every other day, or if it is that you have a huge church that has 15 microphones and 2 soundboards, regardless, you're going to have to do some kind of setting up. And why this is important is the setting up demands a certain level of discipline. In my experience, setting up for shoots is one of the things that it can get monotonous sometimes, but it has to be respected. It has to be respected because you can set up in 15 minutes one day, and then the other day it takes the whole 2 hours to set up. And that's something that you have to get into a certain discipline about, because as a tech leader, you have to be dependable. You have to be dependable where the talent doesn't show up and all the lights are off and nothing is set up. I know there's a frantic rush. I know your ministry has a reputation of always being late, never being on time, and that's probably the number one thing to break the trustworthiness of any ministry. If a ministry has a countdown going for 5 minutes and then it's a whole another 2 or 3 minutes before you actually go live, that's a problem. And that's something that subliminally people look at because it tells you a level of professionalism and different things like that. And as I said before, this department may only be you, but you have to bear the brunt of that burden. You have to know that, okay, it's up to me, but it still has to get done. And so your shoots, your recordings, even your rehearsals, you have to treat that with utmost respect, so that even as you lead your team or as you're a member of the team, that your team looks good, your team is functional, your team is organized, and it gets through everything that it was supposed to get through because you treated it with the respect that it demanded. So setting up shoots, I know for me, it has become the day-to-day operation. I have 2 shoots a day, most days, every day, pretty much, sometimes more. But shoots meaning filming, or even this, a live video, or it may be a voiceover for something, anything. They're going to expect the technician to be in place. So just in your heart from now, many times, whatever your church is doing, it's going to demand tech at some point. So be available and have the heart of a servant that says, okay, I'm just here to serve. What do you need from me? And be available. Be early to your shoots. Please, guys. That's one of the major things that will help you to even not be frantic during the shoot. If you were early and you had enough time to set up, you had enough time to sit back, relax, pray, and just be in a good focused frame of mind. You have anticipated everything that may happen. All of that goes into setting up a shoot. So that's another place where organization is paramount, and it takes you just understanding that, hey, this is a shoot. I'm going to treat it like I'm CNN, even if it's just 2 people. That's where it starts. The Bible says if you're faithful in few, God will make you master of many. All right. This was what, number 4? On top 5, buying equipment. Buying equipment. So that ties in back with the budget, but there's gonna be seasons and there's gonna be spurts where you're gonna have to either upgrade, you're gonna have to introduce something new. Say for example, your church never always used to stream video, but there's a random pandemic that happens and people aren't able to gather at your church, so you have to get the video out to them. So buying equipment. Buying equipment is one of my favorite things to do, just being honest. It's cool because it's new tech. I still save all the boxes that I got from a new tech. Yeah. I like it. I like the smell of new technology. I like when the Amazon people come and they deliver it. Tech day, gear day, you get new gear, you get to explore it. But what that also means, like I said before, it has a lot to do with research. Don't just buy everything that you see advertised because you'll end up wasting money. And you'll end up wasting your time. You may be faced with a tight deadline, as we are a lot of the times in tech. So we can't afford to buy something, not like it, change our minds, send it back, order something else, wait for that to come. By that time, yeah, the project probably failed and it's really late. But yeah, buying technology, buying equipment is really exciting. It's really fun. But it also does take a lot of referring to people, read the reviews, different things like that. We'll cover this in more detail. We'll kind of give you a walkthrough. I think I'll invite Kareem to show us how to buy tech on either Amazon. He's bought tech on eBay, BH Photo. There's so many places that he's bought tech. And yeah, something about the pictures, making sure they're not photoshopped, stuff like that. Yeah, buying tech is a big part of what you're going to do. And don't be intimidated. I know it's a lot of money sometimes, but it's something that you're going to have to do. So just get used to it and know how to do it right. All right? Next one is recommendations. Okay, so in addition to people asking you for help all the time, they're going to also ask you, hey, is this a good camera? Hey, is this a good soundboard? Hey, what microphone should I get? What camera should I get? What lens should I get? How loud should my broadcast be? How soft should it be? What speaker should I get? You're going to be assumed. Once you're the leader in tech, once somebody sees you around the back in the tech booth, they're going to think that you know everything about technology. So what your goal is to make them none the wiser. One practice I've done is never really say, I don't know. Because that doesn't really help anybody, and that's an opportunity even for you to even learn something that you didn't know. So if you don't know, go find out. Help people out. That's one of the biggest things. If you remember the times when you were in a state where you didn't know what to get, you didn't know what to do, you were stuck with all these cables and equipment, and you didn't know, and you had to call somebody and ask for help. You had to go to a forum, and you had to research, you had to do all this stuff. Always remember where you're coming from. And if someone calls you and asks you for help, always be ready. Be ready, because that is a part of your job as a leader in tech. You always have to be ready to take that random phone call, to answer the phone from somebody that says, oh, I'm buying a new laptop. What kind should I get? I know it may not seem like ministry, but you're helping others. You're laying down even the comfort of whatever time they called you at night or whenever. You are doing your own thing, but someone called you in need of help. And yeah, the Bible says if someone asks you to go 1 mile, go with him too. So get a recommendation, send them a link, be as helpful as you can, because truth is, it's going to come back to you. Because the next week, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need help too. We all need help every time, all the time. So that is something that I want you to be prepared for. If you're working tech, be ready to give recommendations, give help to other people. Always be in the ready. And the good thing that helps with that is always be in the know. Keep updated to what's going on. Watch a random tech video at nights. Instead of scrolling for hours on Facebook, do something on YouTube. Find something. Go on Pinterest. Change your Instagram filters to something more techy, so that subliminally you're getting fed with information that somehow you can help somebody else in the future. Number probably 8, I don't know, 7. You are going to be called on to make ideas possible through technology. What does this mean? It means that your pastor is probably going to watch something online and call you and say, hey, can we do this? So you're going to be faced with that a lot. Can we do this? How do we do this? What do we need? you're you have to pause for a second, and you have to say, okay, they're not just being overzealous. What they just saw as your leader just saw something that they really see how it can really help the gospel, and they're coming to you as the one that God has given them to further ministry and to make them play their part as much as they can in reaching the world. So they just saw something that they say, yes, the Lord just really impressed on my heart that we need to do this. So what's your job? Your job is to make it happen. One of the greatest things that you can learn as a technician is submission. Submission meaning that you have acknowledged the fact that you have to answer to somebody. You're accountable to somebody, and that's okay. And the fact that they have ideas and you have ideas, always be ready to put your ideas down so that you can make someone else shine. So if someone else has an idea, do your best. Do your best, even if it seems, even if you don't see the vision, which we don't see the vision all the time. As technicians, we may not be given the whole vision, but we may be called upon to help the vision work. So that's one of the major things you're going to be called on to do. You're going to be called on to make someone else's vision work through technology. And believe it or not, I just have I believe that anything that you want to do, you can do it. And there's a way to do it. I think something like this is in Proverbs. Kareem can probably tell me. Yeah. But yeah, you're going to be called on to make other people's visions work. And God will honor you making other people's vision work, and you'll be blessed so much. You will have gained so much even through that. So that's one of the things that you'll be called upon to do. So I'm just preparing you guys for all the things that you'll be called on to do, so that it won't be a surprise. You won't feel like it's unfair. Not even my job. These are your jobs. This is your job description that you should get ready to do. This is my experience, and it's something that I really see as God just positioning us in this place, that this is our role. One more. It's number 8. Number 8 is research. So it may be something that I may have mentioned in all the other points, but it really is on research. Research means that there is information out there and things that you need to do, and you may not always know readily how to do them. So what do? You go and find out. There's so many ways to find things out nowadays. There's so many resources, so many people that we can always pull on. But you have to see it as important. You have to see this as, this is something that God has called me to do, and I'm going to do the best. On Sunday mornings, believe it or not, your pastor doesn't just go up there and God just tells them what to say on the spot. Sometimes they do, but many times they have to go and study. And as a technician, you also have to study. Study your craft. If you're going to do something, do it well. Do it with your entire self. Devote yourself to it. Baptize yourself in technology. This is the way that you're going to get better, and that your solution that you bring is going top notch. You may see a lot of things that the big companies are doing. ABC, Fox, and CNN. I say CNN a lot. That used to be our benchmark. But what they do is research. They find out what's out there, what's possible, and they find out how to get it done. Information is free, available to us all, and it's up to whoever wants to access that information. That's who's going to get it. So position yourself, be in the stature that you're going to find the information out there, find out how the big churches do it, how they get that beautiful sound online, and you do it yourself. That's how this thing works. You find information. As a technologist, it's called information technology for a reason. There's a lot of information out there, and you have to find out how to make that information work for you. That's one of your biggest things you're going to have to do, guys. Research. You're going to have to research. You're going to have to find things out. I know we didn't really like that word in school, but this is real life. And it's not just going to, by osmosis, just going to your brain automatically. You're going to have to go out and find out how to get these things done. All right? Let's go to, what is this, number 9? Number 9, creativity, automation, and innovation. So, in a couple of points before, we said that we're going to have to make other people's ideas work. But you're also going to be expected by your leaders to come up with the grandest things. And when they see something online, they're going to be like, why didn't you tell me about this? Because that is your job. Your job is to know what's out there and to allow God to tell you how can this make the ministry work. So not only does your leader have to come to you and tell you, I want to do this, you as a technician also are supposed to go to your leader and say, hey doc, look at this. I just saw this online. We got to do this, right? This is a conversation that me and doc, my leader, have a lot of the times. And it helps because she's not going to always know what's out there. And it helps if I, as the one who is supposed to have the knowledge in IT, brings it to her to lets her know that, hey, this can be done. So do that with your leaders too. Let them know how other churches are doing this, how other churches are handling this pandemic, how other churches are engaging their churches, their membership, and bring this to your leadership too. It's your job to innovate. It's your job to be creative in whatever you're doing, and it's your job also to make everyone's job easier. That was the first definition of a computer I ever learned. It's a machine that makes everybody's job easier. That was like the textbook definition. And this is also your job in ministry. You're supposed to make people's jobs easier. So even a microphone makes it easier for you to address thousands of people because you don't have to shout on top of your voice. You can talk in a nice manner and everybody can hear without too much effort from the preacher. Even having scriptures on the screens, having giving them things, tools to make their jobs easier. That's also your job. So these are just things to keep in mind as someone who will work in tech and who has any responsibility in tech. You're going to be expected to be the innovator, to be the creative one, and to be the one that makes everybody's job easier. And is this number 10? Number 10 is to come up with workflows and procedures. So in a department, there's things that will happen. A lot of times it can just almost seem second nature that, okay, I can set up in my sleep pretty much. I go behind there, turn on all those TVs, and I do all of that. But it's no good if you're the only one that knows how to do everything. So workflow, meaning that it can be just the systematic way of how things are done. Anything is done. It's always a system. It's always 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And if you can break things down like that, it's easier for you to pass it on to someone else. I don't always like the idea that there are things around here that I'm the only one that knows how to do. Because I'm in this human body and I can get sick, I can wake up late, I can just be in the wrong place at a certain time. I may not be in place for whatever the reason. There may be something going on in 2 different places at the same time and I can only be in one. It's always good to reproduce yourself, guys. And that doesn't take anything away from you as the leader. If everyone on your team knows exactly what you know and even more, great. You have done your job. You have passed on all your knowledge and you have made space for God to use you for something else. Suppose He said, okay, you've learned submission, you learned leadership, now let's go on further in your leadership gift. But if you're always hoarding the information, if you're always holding on to the fact that I'm the one who does this, it's my job, then you'll never grow. You'll never give room for yourself to do anything else in ministry. So make that an effort. Make it an effort to document everything you do. Make it possible for anyone that picks that thing up to walk through it. It may be a video, it may be a document. Anything like that, make it possible for someone else to take it up and continue from where you left off. So yeah, all your procedures, everything that you've done, everything that, and even any kind of communication. People may wonder, how do I get these backgrounds for the screens and the words and stuff? Even stuff like that. Put the logins for your video libraries and just stuff like that. Anything that you know, make sure someone else is able to know it as well. And that's a bonus one? Probably not. I think that's it. That's number 10. That's number 10. So those guys were the 10 things that I just believe that every technician needs to be prepared to do. And yeah, you're going to do it at some point. Each of them is very important, and it is good if you can master all of these things and add these to your repertoire. Some of these things you may already have been doing, great. If there has been anything that you didn't consider, that this may be something that I needed to do or I needed to consider, there may have been things that you may have been like, why are they always asking me to do this? That's because, believe it or not, it is your job to answer these questions, stuff like that. So, yeah, That's just my way of passing on to you. Before we get into all the technical stuff, that's just my way of passing on to you just how to be prepared, how to be prepared to do your job, how to equip yourself. Never be comfortable not knowing about the equipment you're using. That's research. Always research to the utmost, all that you can research. Find out everything you can know about it because you are who you are. You've been placed in that position that God has placed you in, and that is to be the technician. So take that on. Take it seriously. I got a shirt with a logo. I'm taking it very seriously. Oh, by the way, if you want this shirt, inbox me. I will send them out to you. Team Godchild Clothing is the one responsible for these shirts. So if you want Tech Talk shirts for your team, yeah, let's do that. So inbox me and let me know. I'm going to check on comments because I've been talking a lot, and I want to see what you guys have been saying. Do we have any comments from Instagram? Yeah, you know what? Go again. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If there's any other questions, let me get to the global church. I know they're always talking in there in the chat. Okay, no. Okay, cool. Yay. Awesome. So right now, if you have any questions about things that you may have faced in your tenure as a technician, anything that you think I may have left out, there's probably like a really major thing that I probably left out in this whole thing. Let me know. Type it in the comment section. Yeah, yeah. Anything I left out, Kareem? Woo. Okay. Yeah. Get your Tech Talk shirts. Manage it. Okay. Okay, Michael, we're waiting any question. The other sessions that we did in the global church, no, I haven't posted them. They're on my YouTube, but I have not made them public as yet. I know some of the sessions we had some difficulties doing them. Like sometimes the audio wasn't on and stuff like that. That's why we like completely just rebranded. So a lot of the things that we have covered in the last ones, we're gonna cover them again. But I can send you the links to those. I know you wanted to catch up on all the sessions before. So I'll send you the links to them. That's Mike Pascual. Yeah, that's on Facebook. Okay, yeah. I'll send you those links. I know your tech team is growing over there. Fun stuff. New tech, new gear. Awesome. So yeah, I'll send you those things. Okay. And if there's no more questions, yeah, that was 10 things that you need to know as a technician. So we're gonna go back to the main set and close the show out. All right, I'm gonna hope that I'm live. Can you check? I don't know if I pressed the right button here. If not, this is gonna be really weird. But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Am I? Yes, perfect. Yeah, this I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of running the whole thing from this, so bear with me. It's kind of new, but yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on Tech Talk today. This was fun. This was fun. And if you haven't noticed, I'm really just trying to pour everything I have up here, everything that I have in here, in my heart. I just want to pour it out and let everyone be able to access all this knowledge. Um, I get calls a lot. How do you do this? And it's not just a technical thing. I also see many ways in which people need to know, like how do I manage this? How do I bear this burden of being a technician? It's so much because there's people involved, there's tech involved, there's decisions involved, there's split-second decisions that you're gonna face on the day-to-day, and I really want to help you guys not only with the techie stuff, but also with the softer side, as they call it. managing people, managing money, just being able to be accountable for what you're doing and to help move your ministry forward. Not always feeling like you're dependent on someone else's vision, always trying to copy what everyone else is doing, how to even seek God for your own direction in your life and in your ministry as a technician, because this is your ministry. This is what God has called you to do. Not everyone is back there in the booth. Not everyone is called to be a technician, but you have been. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to, I guess they call this discipleship. What to expect. That was today. What do I expect? Why is it that, I always feel like I'm missing the mark? That's probably because you didn't know what your expectations were. So that was it. These were your 10 things. I'm sure there's many, many more. But these are the 10 things that I believe that any technician needs to know at the outset before getting too techie. That these are the things that you'll be responsible for. So if you know anybody who is not on this stream, not on this room, share this video, like it, subscribe to the YouTube page. Let someone know about these. This happens every Saturday unless something major comes up, which I'll let you know. But yeah, every Saturday we're going to be here just doing this all over again. I like that it's not an hour yet, which is cool. I'm fine with it not being an hour. But yeah, bring your questions next week. We're going to try and let you know from the middle of the week what we're going to be covering as time goes along, so that you'll be prepared. But yeah, that's it for today. My name is Daniel Chen. It's been a pleasure being with you today, and this was Tek Talk. Bye, Instagram.